Hello? I'm Preston Foster. Coming your way with another episode of Waterfront.
Concern. Please be advised that the above firm has purchased the premises now occupied by the Seamen's home. Occupants must vacate premises within 10 days. 10 days. Mate! What's the matter? Hey, come here. Look, read that. What? We've been scuttled, huh? Matt Farnum has bought the home and he's going to throw us all overboard. And in behalf of me fellow constituents, this committee goes on record as being against any proposition to move the Seamen's home from where it's standing now being that we're all satisfied where it is.
There we are.
And that the home has been there for the last 60 years, which has sort of made the guests used to it. And against any proposition to move to the country as stated in the notice. Respectfully yours, guests of the Seamen's home. Signed, unanimous.
Aye.
Well said, lad.
I don't think you boys have a clear picture of this. Did you know that in the last 5 years, waterfront property has increased over 300% in assessed values? We've got to face the facts, gentlemen. This land is just too valuable for anything but commercial use. Progress, gentlemen. We move forward, not backwards. Now, I'm erecting a 20-story building where the home is now, with a tower and beacon that will be seen by ships for miles around. A beacon to guide them in storms, and a tower that will make you all proud to have been a part of it.
We'd rather have the home.
Aye, that we would, Bob.
Now, why would you want to live in an old fire trap when I'm giving you a farm in the country with 20 acres?
I don't think the mates will like it, Mr. Farnum.
How do you know they won't? Have any of you ever been on a farm?
No,
You see, you're all talking about something you don't know. Now, when I bought this farm, money wasn't so easy for me. I sweated every dollar I put into it. And I dreamed of the day I could live on it and become a farmer. To wake up in the morning with the crow of the rooster and the smell of the good earth, and to know that everything around is a piece of nature.
And you'll have fresh eggs every morning and as much chicken as you can eat. Breathe in that good country air, boys, deep into your lungs. Smell that fresh hay?
Hey, that's good.
And now I'm going to show you how we deliver our milk up here.
You mean you can get milk from this town?
Yep, and it's good to the last drop. Imagine. Come on, Mabel. Ah, that's better. Imagine fresh milk every morning from your own cows whenever you want it.
Well, that's pretty good.
What's the matter?
Who's going to do the milking?
to see some of the finest horses in the country. Isn't he a beauty? I raised him myself. Would you like to feed him, Pop? Look at that view. That panorama of, that's living, men. Real living. Well, what do you say, boys?
I don't think so, Mr. Farnum.
For heaven's sake, why not?
You never was a seafaring man, and you just don't understand how the men feel about living near the water.
Well, it's very nice, but,
But what?
we just can't see the ships coming in.
And with that, he said he's moving the wrecking crew in a week and tearing down the home whether we're in it or not.
He was sure mad.
That's tough, and he's got a temper, but he's no bully. What'd you say to him?
All I said was that he never was a seafaring man, and he don't understand how we feel about living on a farm.
You boys could have done better if you tried. You picked the one thing that would touch him off. Matt started on the docks as a stevedore. And before you know it, he began buying up shipping lines. So he became one of the biggest shippers on the coast. But he never was a seaman, and it's a mighty sore spot with him.
I knew a fellow like that. He was a blacksmith. But he wouldn't get on a horse for all the money in the world. He'd knock the block off, too, if you said anything to him.
That's about the way it is with Matt. Even we don't talk about it, as good friends as we are.
That's why we came to you, Captain John. You're a man of the sea and friend of Matt Farnum's. We figured if anybody could talk him out of it, you could.
Well, I don't know if I can talk him out of the building, but I might persuade him to turn over the basement or maybe build an annex.
So long as we're on the waterfront.
Well, I can't promise, but maybe if I give it to him pretty smooth, I might make him forget that farm idea. Well,
He does that.
20 stories in a tower. Should be a standing memorial to the name of Farnum.
When a man starts thinking about memorials, he's getting old.
I've no thought of dying, John. But I'm not getting any younger either. And a man likes to know that there'll be something around for folks to remember when he's gone.
Mm-hmm. Concrete and steel.
I see more than that. I see a tower and a beacon that will light for miles and be seen by every ship that passes in the night. A beacon that every man who sails the seas will know by name. Oh, it's been a dream of mine for a long time, John.
Now you're going to have it.
That's right.
There's only one thing wrong with it, as far as I can see.
What's that?
Putting those seamen out of their home to pasture on a farm.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I don't know how to explain it.
We've been friends for 20 years, John. Now stop hedging.
Well, it's like the committee said, a farm is no place for these old seamen.
Oh, so they've been talking to you, have they?
Well, sure, they know we're old friends, and they figured I could explain, so...
That's the second time you've used the word explain. Now, what is it you want to say to me that you don't think I'll understand?
You don't understand the problem of these seamen. Putting them on a farm would be like...
What do you mean, command of running one of my own ships?
I didn't say that.
No, but that's what you meant.
Ah, come off it, Matt.
I'm sick and tired of people looking down their noses and calling me a dollar-sign admiral just because I never had any practical sea experience. Well, maybe I haven't. But I own the biggest shipping lines on this coast. And I notice no one turns up their noses when they come looking for a favor from me.
You're getting...
And I can tell you something, too. I felt this condescending attitude on your part, too. Like telling me I don't understand these men.
You don't. You don't understand them because you never had any real feeling for the sea. These men would rather live in a packing case on the waterfront than some luxury spot you could give them. But just being here makes them feel alive, and that's something you'd never understand.
You've said enough, John Herrick. You'd better leave now before I say something we'll both be sorry for, and I throw you out in your ear.
You throw me out in my ear? That'll be the day.
Out.
With pleasure.
And don't think you can come back with an apology because there won't be a...
Let me tell you something, Matt Farnum. You can dress up like a seaman, give yourself all the trimmings. But you were born a dock walloper, you're still a dock walloper, and you'll die a dock walloper. Goodbye, landlord. Dock walloper.
Read your paper, dear. I'll get it.
Oh, you're an understanding wife. I've had a weary day.
Hello? Oh, May, how are you? Yes? No, what happened? Oh,
What is it?
Well, that doesn't sound like him.
What is it?
I certainly do. I think it's terrible. Goodbye, May. I'll see you.
Now, will you kindly tell me who that call was from and what it was all about?
Matthew Farnum. I should think you'd feel ashamed of yourself. Tearing down the Seaman's home to make room for an office building.
No, just...
And sending those poor seamen out to your farm. That's practically a poorhouse.
Poorhouse?
And threatening to throw your oldest friend out of your office because he came to plead for them. Matthew Farnum, I am ashamed of you.
Oh, if I just had my hand on that John Herrick. In reference to your shipment, I call your attention to our contract and remind you that,
Mr. Farnum's office? It's Mr. Decker from the wrecking company. He wants to know if it's all right to go ahead with tearing down the Seaman's home in the morning.
Why, certainly it's all right. Whatever gave him the idea it wasn't.
Mr. Farnum says to go ahead and wants to know whatever gave you the idea that it wasn't all right. Oh, I see. Thank you, Mr. Decker. I'll tell him. Mr. Decker says he'll start tearing down the home in the morning, but that his heart isn't in it. And I must say, I don't blame him. Those poor old men. Mr. Farnum, I think you're a brute.
No, sir. Nothing's going to stop me.
What ships do you see, man? Well, the Hawaiian Ranger just coming in the channel. The Orient soon ought to be here.
Hey, Pop, you still hurt?
It's my heart, I think. I can't breathe. Oh, it comes and goes. Oh,
Is it coming or going now?
I can't tell.
Hey, you better go get a doctor. Okay. Pop's got to get well by morning. I wonder what Matt Farnum will think about this.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Decker just called. He said one of the men at the Seaman's home is seriously ill and can't be moved. Mr. Decker says the wrecking will have to be put off indefinitely.
Get me Dr. Barnes. You'll all have to do better than that. I'll have my own doctor examine him. And when he tells me he's faking, I'm firing Decker. And maybe you too, Miss Twill. Dr. Barnes?
You just couldn't take someone's word for it. You just couldn't believe that anybody was telling the truth and that poor old man was really sick.
But, darling, I called Decker back and told him to hold off on the wrecking.
You had to send Dr. Barnes around to make sure. Matthew Farnum, have you no faith at all in mankind?
Why, sure I have.
For a man who was practically dead this morning, you look mighty healthy now. You sure you weren't faking, Pop?
Not me. I got great recouping power.
Yeah.
Farnum's Dr. Sawbones brought one of those boxes around that he straps on the...
Cardiograph reads the heartbeats.
The blame needle jumps around like a jack in the box.
Doc said he was a psycho something.
Psychosomatic.
Yeah, that's me.
I'll bet 2 matchsticks.
I'll see those razor too.
Oh, that lets me out.
Too sick to be moved, eh?
Mr. Farnum.
Shut up. I'll not talk about the misery you've cost me, or the fact that you've practically broken up my happy marriage. I'll just tell you why I came here.
Mr. Farnum,
Be quiet, you pious fraud. I came here to tell you all could stay until I found a new building on the waterfront to house you.
Now, Matt, let me explain this.
You've explained enough. I should have known it was you who thought of this phony, and I hope they all thank you for it. Because you'll all be out of here in exactly 48 hours. Let your friend Captain John find you a place to live in. I've taken back my offer of the farm. I've washed my hands of the lot of you. With my compliments, Captain John.
Captain John.
Well, hello, Miss Twill.
Captain John. I want you to know that even though I work for Mr. Farnum, I'm completely against what he's doing to those poor old men.
Well, that's very nice of you to be so concerned.
After all, working with a man for 18 years, it took something like this to show him up for what he really is. A heartless robber baron.
Well, now, I don't think that Matt...
I'm going to give him my notice today. I simply couldn't work for a man like that, particularly after what he did to you, his very best friend.
He's hot-headed. He's got quite a temper. I'm sure he's sorry now he started the whole thing.
Well, I must say, I've never seen anyone as tolerant as you are. After all, taking away a man's livelihood and leaving him...
Taking away a man's livelihood?
Oh, I know you could get another job, but you've been with Mr. Morgan for so long.
You talking about me?
Certainly. Didn't Mr. Morgan tell you about it? Mr. Farnum's taking his business away.
Zach, I want to know just one thing. Is it true?
Yes, it's true.
Now, look, I don't mind being fired, but when I have to hear about it from somebody on the street...
Wait a minute. Who told you were fired?
What difference does it make? Who told me? As a matter of fact, it was Essie Twill, Matt Farnum's secretary.
Look, John, the day I fire you, you'll hear it from me and not Essie Twill or Essie anybody else. Sit down. John, we have just lost our biggest account, the Farnum lines.
What?
That's all.
Matt wanted you to fire me and you wouldn't do it, huh?
I don't like anybody to tell me how to run my business or who to hire or who to fire, even Matt Farnum. Now, you had nothing to do with it. It was strictly a matter of principle.
So you throw $1 million account in the ash can just because of me?
I tell you, you had nothing to do with it. It was...
Yeah, I know. Strictly a matter of principle. Zach, you're quite a boy.
Another thing, John. Tell the boys at the home not to worry. We'll put them up temporarily in rooms above the lobster claw.
Zach Morgan, Tower of Tapioca.
What do you want?
Your fight with me has nothing to do with Zach Morgan. I want you to give me your business back.
I'll give my business to who I please, without any advice from you. Now get out of here.
I know how you feel about me, Matt. And I know what you think about what happened last night, but you're wrong. Now, if you just give me a chance...
You're wasting your time.
I'll make you a proposition. I can't make Zach fire me, but he can't stop me from quitting. I know that's what you want, so give your business back to him.
Look, I'm a busy man. When I make up my mind, I make up my mind.
You're really off your course, Matt. You're losing every friend you ever had on the waterfront. I'm sorry for you.
You know, living over the lobster claw. All a man has to do is reach down to hand him a cup of grog. How do you like that, old-timer?
I stopped drinking grog 40 years ago.
Clean sheets and towels every day.
No, nobody's going to tell me to take...
They just give them to you. You don't have to use them.
Oh. Our last night's in the old home. Our last meal.
You boys are lucky. Everything's turned out just fine. Zach Morgan's found you a new place on the waterfront. You won't have to go to the farm. Matt Farnum did you a favor when he decided to tear down the home and put up his building.
Oh, yeah? Captain John's right. Why, Zach will probably find us a mansion.
I'd rather stay here.
Turkey! Ham!
How do you like this, Bob?
I ain't got any teeth.
No, Essie, I haven't seen Mr. Farnum. Why?
Mrs. Farnum, I'm worried. Mr. Farnum left the office over 2 hours ago, and he didn't tell me where he was going. I've called every place in town, and I can't locate him.
Stay right where you are, Essie. I'll be right down to the office.
A dock walloper, he calls me. I'll show him. I can sail a boat as good as he can. When I make up my mind, I make up my mind.
Well, won't be long now.
Shipped around like a lot of old baggage.
You'll be all right, Pop.
John, have you seen Matt?
Matt, no.
Oh, he left the office over 3 hours ago. He was upset and he wouldn't tell me where he was going.
Well, it doesn't mean anything.
In the 18 years I've worked for him, Mr. Farnum never left the office without an appointment. He said he wanted to go off by himself and think. Oh, something must be wrong. Why, he didn't even take his hat.
He acted so strange last night. He wasn't himself at all. Oh,
Take it easy. I'm sure he's all right.
I know where he is.
All right, Pop. Where is Matt? How do you know where he is?
Because I saw him, that's why.
Where?
Down to fishing pier. I went down to get gushes and guppies. The only parrot in the world that eats fish.
Yeah, I know. But what was Matt doing?
He was hiring a boat from Joe Johnson.
You sure?
Sure, I'm sure. Wasn't the gushes? Big storm blowing up, too.
Curly, you go over to Joe Johnson's and see if Matt took that boat out to sea. If he did, we'll take the trail land out and see if we can find him. You boys will come with me. My crew's off today.
Right.
You might as well wait in Matt's office. You can't do any good here.
no, I'd rather wait at the dock.
So would I.
All right, suit yourself. Come on, boys.
Now, don't you worry, Mrs. Farnum. If Matt's out on that water, I'll get him.
Matt took that boat out several hours ago. If he gets caught in the storm with that little crate, he ain't got a chance.
Anything new on the weather?
Oh, may act up a little.
Matt doesn't know the first thing about running a motor launch. How you doing down there, Pop?
We're doing fine. How are you doing?
Nothing new.
You're running the ship like you know where you're going. Do you?
I got an idea. That's all it is, an idea. Place Matt and I used to fish. See if we can't pick him up before any weather sets in. That means hook her on, Pop. Keep her at full speed. There's a certain spot I used to take Matt fishing off Balboa. He always said if he ever built a house on the water, he'd build it there. Matt had never admitted, but deep inside of him, he's afraid of the water. He doesn't like it. Hardy's a farmer. That place he wanted to give you was the farm he saved his pennies to buy when he was a stevedore. He was going to retire there. And he made a lot of money, and, well, the farm was sort of kept up and forgotten.
So that's why he got sore.
That's right. He couldn't understand anybody not wanting to live on his farm because that's what he always wanted to do himself.
There's a motorboat out there.
That's him, all right.
There you are.
Hi, Mr. Farnum.
Curly, you tie the boat to the stern. You'll tow it in.
Okay, Pop. Come in. I am Mr. Farnum.
Come on. Get you a cup of coffee.
And instead of an observation roof, I'm going to turn it into living quarters. A sun deck made up like a ship with a view for miles around. You'll be able to see ships coming in at San Diego. It's going to be the new Seaman's home, boys. Well, how do you like it?
Mr. Farnum, we like it just fine.
Well, all I've got to say is...
Speak for yourself, Curly Donovan.
What's the matter, Pop?
I like the old place better.